I know that I've got quite a few South African followers, and I just wanted to say that I'm thinking of you all, and I hope that you all are doing safe over in South Africa at the moment, because if you guys know anything about what's going on in South Africa at the moment, it is rather crazy. And I really do feel for anyone that is white over in South Africa at the moment, because what I've been seeing, at least, it shows me that they're not safe at all. There's a lot of prejudice towards white people, and the black majority government is making that evidently and abundantly clear that white people in South Africa are not welcome in South Africa. And even in the Cape Town, one of the most prominently white parts of South Africa, it's not safe. There's a lot of rich people over in South Africa too, and they are being targeted. If you are white in South Africa, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, recently, we'll get to this in just a moment, but I want to mention the fact that Donald Trump allowed 59 South Africans that were fleeing from South Africa. He gave them asylum in the US, and that's a good thing. But the leftist media had a field day with it, and also the leaders of South Africa, one in particular, President Cyril Ramaphosa, has called the 59 white South Africans who moved to the US or resettled, he called them cowards. Elon Musk recently shared this over on X. The South African government just said whites are cowards who are fleeing racial justice. What exactly do they mean by racial justice? You're saying that the blacks have the power to lock up or unalive these white people, and that is considered to be justice on a racial standpoint? Is that what you're alluding to? These white people that left South Africa for their safety, they're apparently cowards for choosing to be safe from a place that doesn't want them to exist anymore? That is nuts. Now, there's also these videos or these photos that I've been seeing. I can't read out the actual K word on this platform anymore. We will unalive white women. We will unalive white children. We will even unalive your pets. This is what people, the black people in South Africa, have been saying for a long, long time. The tensions between the whites and blacks has been going on for as long as I can remember. And even if you look at history as well, it's been going on since the very beginning of South Africa's creation. You had obviously the Shakas that came after, or Zulus, I should call them, Shaka Zulu. The Zulus that came much later after the white people that decided to go after the white people and cause a lot of unrest. And obviously people will go, oh, but the Zulus, they had the right. And then they'll go, there's also the blacks, they had a right to the land too. And the white people, the white settlers, they took over. And that is simply not true. There's a conversation you guys can listen to if you want between Jordan Peterson and a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker who is also South African. I forgot his name, but I'll try and link it in the show description, or you can just check it out. It's one of Jordan Peterson's recent podcast interviews about everything that's going on in South Africa at the moment. It's well worth your time to listen to it. It is, it's a powerful conversation. Let's just say that. But let's go back to this Ramaphosa, the president, saying that the white South Africans going to the US are cowards. Why are they cowards? He's called the 59 white South Africans who have moved to the US to resettle cowards, saying they'll be back soon. The group of Afrikaners arrived in the US on Monday after President Donald Trump granted them refugee status, saying they faced racial discrimination. But Ramaphosa said those who wanted to leave were not happy with the efforts to address the inequalities of the apartheid past. Obviously, we know what took place with the apartheid. It's created a lot of tensions between the whites and the blacks. And then we had Nelson Mandela post-apartheid, I believe. Obviously, Nelson Mandela was jailed for doing some crazy stuff. We won't go into that, but he became, I guess, the president of South Africa, or the leader of South Africa, and people looked up to him. And apparently, Nelson Mandela wanted a unified whites and blacks. Wanted. But, well, that's turned out to not really happen, isn't it? So, because of the apartheid, loads of black people are still outraged because of it. And they want to basically seek revenge on the white people because of the apartheid. Go figure. And it's still like, even though the apartheid was a number of years ago, they still want justice, I guess, terming their relocation a sad moment for them. Why? They're free. They're away from a place that could potentially kill them. As South Africans, we are resilient. We don't run away from our problems. We must stay here and solve our problems. When you run away, you are a coward. That's a real cowardly act. Well, let's just point to the facts here. You want to stay and deal with a major problem of black people wanting you unalived? Sure, by all means. If you're trying to protect yourself and your family, run like hell, man. Why would you stand and try and fight something like that? Now, I know your whole livelihood is in South Africa potentially, but if it comes between your life, your family's life, and like living in peace and freedom, away from problems, run. Get away from it, especially if that problem is actually black people that want you gone. So this President Ramaphosa can say whatever the hell he wants to say. It doesn't make him a big shot just because he is black and he is protected now because he's the president. He can say whatever he wants to say, but Trump did the right thing. Trump and his close ally, South African-born Elon Musk, have said there was a G word, GENOCIDE, of white farmers in South Africa, a claim that has widely been discredited. This is from the BBC, my friends, even though the white farmers in South Africa have been screaming for a long time. And there's also a number of other people that will allude to the claims that it's not discredited, it's actually happening. The US has also accused the South African government of seizing land from white farmers without paying compensation. More than 30 years after the end of decades of rule by South African white minority, black farmers own only a small fraction of the country's best farmland, with the majority still in white hands, leading to anger over the slow pace of change. So, according to the black government, it's like, enough's enough. We'll give the white land that they've had for probably generations, we'll give that to the black people. That's only fair, right? Just take it over and then we'll end the life of the farmer and we'll not tell anyone about it. That's racial justice, apparently. Good grief. In January, President Ramaphosa signed a controversial law allowing the government to seize privately owned land without compensation in certain circumstances, when it is deemed equitable and in the public interest. Well, that is a really slippery slope, if you ask me. I can decide whenever I want. This is my land, bugger off. So it's no wonder, it's really no wonder that people, farmers in general, or white people, for their own safety, there are gangs in South Africa that I've heard, you can fact check me if this is correct, but I've heard there are gangs in South Africa that are going around and not only robbing, but unaliving people on the street, white people, because they can. They get away with it. So I know a lot of South African people. There's a massive community up here in Queensland on the sunny coast of South Africans. And I'm friends with a lot of them. And I love them dearly. And I only, like, I look at what's going on in South Africa at the moment and it breaks my heart. Like, what is going on? It's not safe. And it just, I hope that it gets better. I really hope that he gets better. Anyway, for those of you that are watching that are over in South Africa at the moment, I want to share this with you just in case some of you were not, well, just in case some of you don't believe me what's going on. This person wrote to Elon Musk saying, I'm in South Africa right now. You can't walk anywhere at night, even in the nicest areas of the Cape. The Cape is still functional, but Johannesburg is a ruin. None of the traffic lights work, not one. The vast majority of the black population is poorer than I've ever seen them. The small minority of the rest of the black population are obscenely rich from the looting that is going on via government tenders and BEE. A friend who works at the public hospital in Baragawanth, I think I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, says that a loaf of bread for the hospital costs about $50. Wow. Because of a corrupt tender agreement with the food vendor. They're paying this much for bread, even though there are no surgical tools or masks for the doctors. I heard a story from a realtor friend in SF who said that her 75-year-old aunt, was R-worded and both her arms broken when blacks robbed her estate near Kruger. Cape Town seems to be the only place doing well because it's such an attractive destination for tourists. But everything else all around doesn't seem to be doing that well. So anyway, my friends, if you are thinking about going over to South Africa, please be careful. And if you are there at the moment, please be careful. You guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.